All right. I guess I'm ready if you are, even though it's fucking weird.
All right, here we go. All right, here we go.
Lobriam, 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 Lobriam.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Forbes,
And I'm Liam McQuaid.
and this is Lobriam. This is a podcast based on our experiences with anxiety and the mental health and social media and the effects it has on us and other people, I guess. Right, Liam? I guess it's...
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose.
Sorry?
And just society as a whole.
Yeah, society as a whole. We both love a lot of different podcasts, and we both have a lot to say. So I'm glad that we're both doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to kind of have like a bit of an audience to kind of talk to. Like when I was younger, when I hit 16, 17, I'd always said like being a motivational speaker would be cool and talking about like how I've suffered anxiety and depression my entire life and how I've overcame it and my experiences and like kind of reaching out to those who are younger and those who kind of need the help and those motivational words of like wisdom and experience and kind of how to shape their lives to coexist with anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my personal opinion, I guess. And now we kind of have the ability to do so, and I have someone to do it with rather than me sitting in front of a camera by myself and just talking there awkwardly. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I hear you, man. Yeah, like it's cool that I finally like found someone to talk to about it, and like usually I just talk to my fiance about it, and
yeah, and I've done the
and
same thing too.
yeah, and she can only help me so much, right? Like
Yeah,
after a while, it starts to get kind of not annoying, I guess, but probably.
yeah, I always kind of felt like it was a bit of a burden, to be honest, talking to my fiance about it and kind of like I don't want to drag her down. And really, I find like those who go through it the most understand the most because they feel the same things you do. Like you can talk to someone who doesn't have an anxiety disorder about how you're feeling horrible, and they're more likely to say, "Oh, it's okay in the end." But if you talk to someone like me who suffered through it, I'd be like, "Yeah, you know what? I understand." And together, you and I can actually talk it through, as opposed to just me feeding you the lie of you're going to be okay. Because when you're in that crisis mode, your mind is so warped and confused. Your mind just feeds you the thought of, you know, everything's falling apart, like the world's ending, all this trauma and negativity, and you can't process the thought of positivity. So being told you're okay is just a bullshit lie in itself. Because you're not. And being told that is just, to me, shrugging it off.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of how society is nowadays, right? Like with the whole truth and reconciliation and with social media, the way it's turning kids.
Yeah.
We're just like, oh, it's okay, they'll figure it out. Or it's like, oh, we went through that. It's like, no, like times are different. Like you can't just say it's okay anymore.
Yeah, and with social media as a whole now too, I feel like everything is so cancel culture, as they call it, and everyone's so sensitive and soft. And you say what as a celebrity, you say one wrong thing, even in the past, and now you're held accountable for that. But I mean, people make mistakes; they say things out of line when they're, intoxicated or in a bad mindset or just, an immature, younger version of themselves. But people have the audacity to go back on like their Twitter and Instagram and Facebook feed and all that and find old resurfaced tweets of them saying something highly inappropriate or racist. And while that's not really okay to do, you can't hold them accountable now, a decade later, for something they did in the past. I mean, if they killed someone, different. But if they said something, I'm not going to say anything, obviously, out of line, but just,
Yeah. Everyone is mad at something and they can't figure out what it is, so they're blaming it on other people, right? It's like the whole anti-vax and vaccine. Like, can you imagine being one of us, as much of anxiety we have, and being a person that doesn't believe and getting vaccinated? Like, it would be insane. Like, I would be panic attack mode 24/7.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like against it or anything. I'm like I'm on the like I guess I'm kind of like I'm neutral, but it is your choice. I have both my vaccines because I work in childcare, so I need to, and not just that, but like when it first got offered, I wanted to anyways, even though it took me a few months to get it done.
Yeah, yeah,
For my own well-being, I wanted to, and so I can actually travel. I'm not one of those people that says like, oh, you need to do all this stuff, and I don't always agree with what people are. How do I word this? Like all the new mandatory mandates with like you need to be vaccinated to get into restaurants, all that in where we live.
yeah.
I don't agree with all that, but I mean, it is up to the people. So
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, man. Like, and with all these facts passes and stuff, like I don't understand it anymore. To be quite honest,
yeah,
I don't really know what's happening anymore.
I guess I don't agree with is people going on Facebook, and I'm not going to name names because I know someone actually did this, and I should probably cut this out to be honest. But I don't agree with one of your phrases. We're going to cut that part. What I don't agree with is people who go on social media and post about how like, oh, the government's controlling us. This is all like we're all mindless robots and we have to follow the government mandate and blah blah blah. It's like, what? Why now? Like compared to 10 years ago when different things happen, why all of a sudden are we slaves to society?
Yeah.
What is because you are essentially getting a flu shot. So what's the problem?
Yeah, I know.
It's up to you. It will benefit you to travel and to access certain things. So why do people need to go on social media and basically flame people for doing it when it's not? How does it bother them? Like what difference does it make to them? Who cares?
Yeah, no, yeah.
It's
Crazy.
like society now is so like anti this, anti that. So, those who are, I don't know, struggling to come out of the closet, for example, are so afraid of people's judgment and opinions. And it's like, how does it affect them in any way, shape, or form? It is a person's choice what they like or what they want to be in life. And, all it matters is to that person specifically. So why do people feel the need to be so negative and put people down and hate and discriminate? Like society is such a hateful thing, man. Like, I don't think it's everyone. And I mean, when I was younger, I definitely had my moments of hatred. And now that I'm a 27-year-old adult, I try to really let go of the hate. And like, I do a lot of spiritual healing meditation. Like I have crystals in my office from here. I have these little Buddha statues, and these things help me feel at peace. And especially the plants behind me here.
Yeah.
They make me feel peace and like clear my head and release the negative energy in my mind of making me feel hatred. So really, like the way I was raised too is to not discriminate, not to hate. People can be or say whatever, as long as it's not going to come across as like negative, I guess. But a person's choices in life shouldn't matter to people unless it's like I said, murder or crime or something. But if they want to be someone, like a guy who wants to be a nurse, okay, what's wrong with that. A woman who wants to be a plumber, what's wrong with that? Personally, like, I'm no one special. I don't really aspire to be a rich and famous celebrity. I'm quite comfortable in the life that I live with an average house, not the best income, but I'm getting by, and driving an average car. If I had riches, then maybe I'd be a bit more content, even though money can't buy you happiness. But it's more the thought of being like an A-list celebrity where I walk the street and it's like, oh my God, that's Liam. He was in this and he's famous for that. It's just like, I would hate that because I'd have a constant feeling of like, shadow following me, and knowing that one misstep could be like I'd be the news for, oh, did you hear Liam said this or did this? And that thought just makes me feel horrible.
Yeah.
Because people like depend on you and they feel like, oh, whatever you do, we're gonna do, kind of thing, you know?
Mm-hmm. So today, Liam and I are going to talk about our very first panic attack and how that changed us, and maybe how it actually gave light on how we used to be or how we always were. You can go first, Liam, if you want.
Sure. So I'd say I think I was 5 or 6 years old, and I was sitting in the movie theater with both my parents, and it's so stupid to think about, but I can't remember how long it was prior, but like basically I had like a weird power outage that like deleted like game data on my Nintendo 64, and this sounds totally nerdy, but I was like so worried of that happening. And then we were at the theater and it was thundering out, and I kept thinking like, oh shit, was my N64 off? Because when it was on during that power outage, that seems to be what like spiked that surge, like erased the game data. It didn't fry my console or anything, but basically that's what had happened, I think. From a previous thunderstorm, like something tripped the power anyways. So I kept thinking to myself, oh my god, it's turned off. And I kept asking my dad, it's like, is it turned off? He's like, yeah. I was like, are you sure? Are you sure? He's like, yeah, you're good. And I was like, oh my God, are you sure? And I kept thinking. And my heart starts racing. I was like sitting there shaking, almost in tears. And this sounds so pathetic and nerdy, but it's the earliest one I can remember, really. And I just like, I kept questioning it. And even though I had the reassurance, I couldn't fully commit to that thought that everything was okay. You know, like I kept thinking to myself, oh my God, like it's not. The end of the world's gonna happen. Like, again, totally nerdy, I know, but it's that rush of racing thoughts. And I never really, when I was that young, I was like, I'm just, afraid. There was no like thought of, the word panic or anxiety or anything like that. It was just like a crazy rush of thoughts. And I finally calmed down. That, I think, was my first one that I can really remember. And it was weird, and I guess I kind of got over it just by myself naturally after being reassured but many, many times. Not to say that number because I really don't know, but that was it, I think. It was weird, but compared to my adult life now, it's very, very different, and I haven't had one in a very long time, but oh my God, like, it's not a fun experience, especially at that young of an age.
When I was younger, I didn't have a panic attack until I was a lot older. But I was always OCD. Like I always worried about like planes going over. I was worried that they were going to drop bombs and stuff. And like, I was always worried about sleeping over at people's houses until I like reached a certain age, like 13, 14.
That was a big one to do for me too. Like as a kid, I never liked sleepovers.
Yeah.
And admittedly, I'd always make an excuse to get out of it, like, oh, I have to go home for this, or I don't feel up to it, or this and that. The irony is, I wouldn't mind having people stay at my house, but it was sleeping at people's houses that made me feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's odd, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then so my very first panic attack, and like, I always felt like it was induced, but it was kind of like I knew it was going to happen. It was a weekend of like heavy drinking. I think I was 22 or 23. And the next day, like I was really, really out of it. And I was just having racing thoughts and stuff. And then my body like kind of like contracted and I couldn't move my body or my arms or my legs. It was the craziest experience, man. Like it was nuts. Like, and this first time I was on an airplane. I was coming back from Toronto with a staff party from the keg. And we were coming back from skiing there. It was a ski resort. And then for a staff party, they flew us there all for free. It was pretty sweet. And then when we were coming back, I had the attack on the airplane, man. And it was just, they were going to turn the plane around. And there was a doctor on the flight, and he like talked me through it and helped me breathe.
Oh, wow.
It was a crazy experience. And then I had the same one like 3 months later. And then ever since then, man, like I think it was 2013. So we're coming up to 8 years almost of like strong anxiety. And then I go through this thing like every 2 years where I just have anxious thoughts, and then like super anxious, and then I have to go on medication again. And that's a whole nother, save that for a whole nother different topic.
Yeah, definitely. I was staying down at my aunt's house here in PEI before I moved here. And I was, I think, 10 years old. And she only had, I think at the time, one spare bed. So me and my dad were sharing it. Corny as ever, I know. And I remember having this dream about like, I don't know if I was in like heaven or just something weird, but I remember I was in like an ice cube. It's going to sound really strange, but I'll explain what happened. I was standing in an ice cube in the middle of a row of three, and beside me were two other people encased in ice. And we were in the sky, like suspended above clouds, and you can see the blue sky around us. We were all standing there frozen in ice. And I tried to move, and I couldn't. And I started feeling panic. And this was my first real recollection of sleep paralysis.
Oh shit. Yes.
Yeah. And I remember I was like taking in small breaths, but I couldn't exhale. So I started to feel myself choking kind of. And I started to kind of vividly shake, and I couldn't do anything. And then, when you have dreams where you're like, you can kind of feel conscious, and you can like feel like you're trying to move, and you feel your body moving, but you're still excuse me, in that dream. You know what I'm trying to say here?
Oh yeah. So
I started moving my torso, and I couldn't move my arms, like they were literally paralyzed.
Oh,
So
man, I had that
I
too.
was kicking my legs. I ended up kicking. I could feel my feet hitting my dad. I was kicking his legs like crazy, like I was pedaling a bike, kicking him and kicking him and kicking him. And he woke up and he touched my back. And then I remember it like woke me up, and I was like, and just this huge breath. And I was like, and like I was breathing heavy. He's like, what's wrong? And I was like, I couldn't breathe. He's like, what? And I was like, yeah, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. All I could move is my legs, my torso. I couldn't move it at all. My arms, I tried moving them. They felt like they were pinned down in cement. It was horrible. And I remember sitting in bed for an hour after that, just breathing heavy and trying to calm down, and feeling like a rush of anxiety, and like thinking like, what the hell just happened to me?
Man.
Ooh.
That is crazy. Yeah, that's happened to me like a couple times when I was 16, 17.
I know describing the atmosphere and like the scenario was so weird and all that, but it was because it was so vivid. It's like embedded in my mind. It's like a weird memory that happened, like that's how much I remember it, how much it scared me. I remember every single detail like that.
Yeah.
And I don't happen to the other people. I don't know who they were, what they were, if they were like animals or people or something like that. They could have been, they were just other figures. But I remember we were all encased in ice, and it was like the scare. I don't know how it happened and like what led to that dream specifically. And like, I don't remember all my dreams, but there's a few that I vividly remember. Like there was one too, talking anxiety too, when I've seen this happen in movies. And I remember I was at my mom's house, and I think I was 15 or so, lying in bed on my back, but I was asleep. And I remember I was on a bridge, and all I could see was like a long drawn bridge into the distance, and the sky was orange because there was fire everywhere. Like it was a burning wasteland essentially. But I was kind of in like a city, and this bridge was leading to somewhere else, like on like the outskirts of the city essentially, right?
Yeah.
Or saying to my dad, like, I was panicked. I was like, what the hell's going on? He's like, we gotta go. And I was like, what? He starts walking away from me on the like down the bridge. And it's like, and like the middle of the bridge, like think like the Confederation Bridge. That's what it's like kind of like. But you couldn't really see what was on the other side because it was so far away. It was just black.
Yeah.
Even the sky was orange because all the fires raging around us and all that. I remember this vividly. And I were going, Dad, Dad, Dad. And he kept walking away and he couldn't hear me because there was chaos and destruction all around us and like the fire raging. And I were going, Dad. And I yelled so loud. I shot up out of bed and I was sitting straight up. And I woke myself up because of how loud I yelled. And I like gripped my chest and I was shirtless and I could feel the sweat pouring off me. And I was like, and panicking. And I was like, holy shit, like what just happened, you know? Yeah. So that again was like a pretty bad, I guess, a panic attack almost. I'm not going to count the sleep paralysis as one, but that was the first time I really woke myself up from yelling in a dream. Wow. So that's me scary.
Yeah, man, no doubt. That's crazy. That sounds really, really freaky.
And again, it was so vivid that it's like embedded in my mind as to how it all happened, every little detail and all that, right? So
all right, guys, that was Lobriam. Hope you enjoyed our first episode. Thanks a lot, Liam, for doing this and next time. And congratulations to episode 1.
Yeah, congratulations, man. Been an awesome opportunity, and I'm excited to do more.
Oh yeah, buddy.
Awesome.
All right, stay tuned out there, folks, and you have a good day, man.
Yeah, you as well, brother.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
Awesome, bro.
Peace.
Peace.